Our taste in film may seem destructive, but this is a productive dialogue. Damn it, your mother ate my dog.
Now
Hey,
recording. Hi.
Sorry, I was waiting for you.
You startled me.
That's good. Hey, Jesse, welcome back.
Thanks, man.
To the internet, episode 27.
Yeah, probably. Internet episode 27.
Your Mother Ate My Dog, the podcast, episode 27. Today we have a good one for you. 1 hour photo. It's very nostalgic, this movie, because of those, 1 hour photo places in like a London Drugs or they used to have one in like a superstore that you'd pass and be like, oh, let's get my camera processed and my pictures.
Get them all
and
done.
stuff.
It's exciting.
The kids these days don't know.
No, they don't know
about it.
What's a camera?
Well, I don't know about that, but a fact that I learned while watching this movie and then doing a little research about 1 hour photo is that the star of the movie, Robin Williams, he actually died on August the 11th, whatever year it was. And so it's like you picked this movie because you wanted to remember him and pay tribute to Robin Williams on the anniversary of his death.
Back in 2014. It's like the celebrity death that I think hit me the hardest out of anyone in my life up until this point, I think.
Quite out of left field. I believe he did it. Well, I don't know why he did it, but he had early signs of dementia, and I guess he just couldn't. He just couldn't, for whatever reason. Okay, well, this is kind of been a sad turn of events.
What a fun way to start the podcast.
Anyways, I'm Josh, and you're Jesse. Your Mother Ate My Dog, the podcast, 1 hour photo, 2002. Obviously, we don't start with the movie anymore. We start with some good stuff. So the first segment today.
Start with some good stuff, and then we get to the movie. That's the bad part.
Well, I mean, it was what it was. I do have a scam update for you.
Oh, excellent!
If you remember, in the last two episodes, we've been talking about me getting these scam emails from a bunch of people, and this week, my scam update of the week is that I got no emails. So no update. So the scam update of the week is that there is no update. The scam seemed to be over, getting no more emails. I guess they found somebody else. To send money to.
Well, that's been our best segment, the scam email of the week. And that was our best iteration of that segment, I think, so far.
That's a backhanded compliment, I think.
Oh, that's right. That's what that's called.
But because we don't have a scam update, I do. We are going to return a good news of the week segment.
Oh, good.
This week we just have one good news article because I'm getting a little lazy on this. But it is something that might interest you.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
In a 1 month period, in a 30-day period, how many times do you think that you eat fast food?
I would say probably 5 times.
Yeah, 4 or 5 is probably my number as well. Well, let me tell you some good news about that. Did you know snacking on grapes may add 4 to 5 years to lifespans of those who regularly eat fast food?
Oh, so something to offset that fast food craving, I suppose. Have grapes at all times.
Yeah, so like if you eat fast food 4 to 5 times a month, you're probably taking 4 to 5 years off your life, apparently. So new research suggests that snacking on grapes might combat the effects of consuming a junk food diet, flushing out the refined fats and sugars of processed food. Eating the grapes led to unique gene expression patterns, reduced fatty liver, and extension of lifespan for animals consuming the high-fat diet. We're
Now, I guess
animals of some sort.
I guess the next step would be you go to McDonald's and you get the McGrapes, and they sort of become self-aware and they start serving grapes.
Yeah, they should probably read that article, and it might help. I don't think they need help on their business. But,
No, they're probably doing all right.
and that's been the good news of the week. Snack on some grapes if you have a fatty diet, and you may live longer.
That's a fun tip.
Now I have a question for you.
Another question for me. Okay.
Yeah, episode 27. This is the Jesse Questions podcast.
Welcome back.
So we did watch a movie this week, 1 Hour Photo, starring Robin Williams. If you could watch another movie, what movie would you suggest that our listener watch instead? Do you have a movie of the week? Is what I'm trying to get.
I have a movie of the week. I actually sort of thought it out a little bit this time. This is a movie. It's another one of those. I owned it as a kid and thus watched it more times than would be acceptable in most societal circles. Have you seen the movie Toy Soldiers?
You betcha. Phil Hartman.
Phil Hartman is in that movie. Actually gives quite a good performance in that movie, if I remember correctly. But it was just like, I don't even know, did that movie even go to theaters, or was that just like a VHS movie? It must have gone to theaters. It seemed like a pretty big budget, I suppose.
It must have gone to theaters. It's just
But basically,
a 1991 film.
Oh, yeah, right near the year of my birth. Yeah, I guess.
Wait. Toy Soldiers or the other soldier movie?
The other soldier movie. Oh, I can hear you.
Small Soldiers? Are you talking about? Or are you talking about Toy Soldiers?
I think I meant Small Soldiers. Did I say Toy Soldiers?
Yeah, Toy Soldiers is another movie, 1991 movie, starring Sean Astin. Small Soldiers is the Phil Hartman one.
Well, so much for movie of the week, am I right? I can't even get the name of it right.
Box office $87.5 million. So yeah, it would have gone to theaters.
Okay. Small Soldiers. Basically like these toy soldier dudes that come to life and are... I remember... I have a lot of fun memories of that movie. Although I could not tell you the plot right now. At all. I just know that there's little dudes.
Top defense contractor Globotech Industries acquires a Heartland Toy Company, and as part of the move, Globotech CEO Gil Mars commissions Heartland Toy designers Larry Benson and Erwin Wafer. Okay, I'm not going to do this.
Oh, wow, you got a pretty good memory there.
Yeah, that's where it ends.
That is my movie of the week. Not Toy Soldiers. I keep wanting to say that for some reason. Small Soldiers. Give it a watch.
48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
48%. Yeah.
Yep.
I might have to go back and watch that one. It's been like 20 years.
I think it's one of those films where like the audience score will be a lot bigger than the Rotten Tomatoes score.
The critics would be hard on that one. They don't like fun, I suppose.
Don't like fun. Small Soldiers, great movie recommendation.
You're welcome. I even prepared that one, and I didn't even get the title right. We're prepared here on Your Mother Ate My Dog, the podcast. He's Josh. I'm Jesse. And this week, we watched 1 Hour Photo starring Robin Williams. Now, Josh, when did you watch that film?
I watched 30 minutes of it yesterday and the last hour of it today.
Oh, you split it up, huh? Just because based on what kind of time you had available to you, that sort of thing?
You betcha.
Okay. Now, I've sort of just dove right into the podcast movie of the week. Did you have any more segments before we started the actual podcast movie of the week segment?
I did have one more segment, but we can save that for after the movie since we've kind of moved on.
We moved on. I sort of took the reins. I don't usually do that, but I am very happy to go to that segment before we start the film. I've just given the people a bit of a teaser. And now you know, Josh watched half an hour of it yesterday, an hour of it today.
Let's just talk about the movie.
Let's just talk about the movie, and we'll do the segment after.
Before we go any further, I just want to say that we did watch the movie 1 Hour Photo, 2002, starring Robin Williams. It was written and directed by a guy named Mark Romanek. A guy who wrote and directed music videos. Like he did Scream with Michael and Janet Jackson, and Shake It Off by Taylor Swift.
Really?
He has his music videos have won 20 MTV Video Music Awards.
Well, I was looking up his filmography, and I was like, well, he hasn't really done much except this movie. Like, he's done other films, but ones I've never heard of.
Yeah, he did one in 2010 called Never Let Me Go, which was nominated for a British Independent Film Award for Best Director.
Well, there you go. That was one of them. One of the ones I had never heard of. So what are your first impressions of this film, Josh?
Well, this is a film that I have seen before. Mm-hmm. I went on Disney Plus, and it was like, oh, there's 6 minutes remaining. Do you want to keep watching it? And then I'm like, no, we'll restart it.
So you must have watched that pretty recently.
I don't know, like 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Year and a half? I don't know. Yeah, 1 Hour Photo. This was a movie that I wanted to watch before because obviously the Robin Williams, the comedian, plays a not comedic role. He's a big creep.
He is a big creep. Not funny at all.
Not funny in the least. No. This is the first movie that you saw Robin Williams. It might ruin Robin Williams as an actor for you.
That is possible.
Another interest before I get into my thoughts on the movie, I just wanted to I just wanted to bring up the fact that Robin Williams' character named in this movie is Seymour Parrish. His character name in Jumanji was Alan Parrish.
Oh?
There's a character named Seymour in The Simpsons, and he watched part of an episode of The Simpsons in the movie. So things are connected.
Oh, okay. It's all the trilogy of Seymour and Parrish.
He worked in a store called Save Mart. There is a store called Walmart and also a store called Save On. Do you think
it's all connected? 3 points, like 3 points of a triangle, the Illuminati confirmed. And you'll find that seagull in the background agrees.
Yeah, this is a movie that at the time I did want to watch, and I was very interested in watching, and I remember watching it, and I was like, okay. And then I watched it this time, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that is a fair assessment of this film. I also, I've always meant to watch this film, and I was pretty excited going into it. And I had about a similar experience coming out of this film. It's like, okay. That's about
This film is 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Robin Williams, a guy we will talk about a lot. His performance was great. Like, there's nothing wrong with his performance. Yep. He went outside the box, and he played the character probably as good as anybody else could have. So there's no problems there. It's just like there are some holes, some pretty glaring holes in the plot. Yeah,
There's also one thing I guess I would say about Robin Williams, having seen quite a few of his films, is I think he does best when he's able to kind of just be himself. And so what I mean by that is like, if you've ever seen Good Will Hunting, he's not really like trying to be a character. Like in this film, he's just like this creepy guy, and he doesn't get to be him like Robin. He doesn't get to be funny, which he does the best. And in Good Will Hunting, there's moments where he is funny and like seems very genuine, and like he's like a real human that you would think exists. And this one, I don't know. It just like it doesn't work. And like in Mrs. Doubtfire, he's being himself. He gets to be silly, but also there are serious moments. It works amazingly. He's super good in that movie. Super good in Good Will Hunting. He can be himself in Good Morning Vietnam. He's very good in that movie. And then there's performances like this. I'm thinking of Jumanji. I don't know. I mean, some people maybe hold that movie pretty dear to their heart. For me, his performance is pretty lackluster in that one. I don't know. It's just like he's his best when he's just able to do his own thing, you know? If that
Dead
makes
Poet
any
Society
sense.
was
Dead
great.
Poet Society, yes.
Patch Adams was great. Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
Good Will Hunting, probably one of my favorite movies of all time. It's Not Your Fault.
Yeah. Oh, another one I was thinking of where I don't like his performance is Moscow on the Hudson, where he's like this Russian, who defects, and I don't like that performance at all. But
How did you feel about Popeye?
I haven't seen that movie. I hear that movie's pretty garbage, though. But I mean, I can't really say for sure because I haven't seen it.
It's 40 years old. Came out in 1980.
Oh, wow. There's also like Death to Smoochie, where he's like, that also is not an amazing movie. Have you seen Death to Smoochie?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, he's like playing a character. I don't know.
Well,
like when I watch Mrs. Doubtfire, I'm not.
He's an actor. So.
I know that, but when he's in Mrs. Doubtfire, he's just being himself. Like I don't think he's being a character more. Like I don't know. I'm finding it hard to articulate what I'm trying to say. Do you kind of get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, we kind of get what you're trying to say.
Okay. Well, anyway, because in this film where he's playing Psy, he's like only a creep, and he does it pretty good, but it's just like it's not as a fulfilling of a performance as I've seen from him. It's like it was good, but flat in some ways. And in that being said, it's like the best part of the movie is his performance, because there's problems with the writing and the plot, and also the other actors.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Yoshi was pretty good.
Yoshi was good, but I mean, he wasn't in it very much.
I thought the child played child pretty well. I feel like the child wasn't acting at all.
The child actor was good,
being his like normal self.
Yeah. I just I didn't like this performance very much. It was cool seeing him do something different. It just didn't work. He didn't have the magic that he is able to have in some of his performances, where they're truly Oscar-worthy performances.
So this is a movie that you wanted to see, and then you were kind of let down by it.
Oh yeah, big time. And I also remember always, like, when I heard about this movie, the premise intrigued me. Like, he was a creepy guy who would develop pictures, and I'm sure he would, like, look at ones and, fantasize. And that's kind of what I envisioned. What the plot of this movie is pretty similar to what I had envisioned it would be. But I don't know. I don't think it was quite... it wasn't executed quite as well as I had hoped it would be.
For some reason, he trained for 2.5 days at a photo developing training facility in preparation for the role.
Interesting. It did seem like he really knew what he was doing. Like I believed, oh yeah, he's a film developing photo lab guy. So maybe that helped.
He was also a fan of the Japanese anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Evangelion.
Yeah, that's what I said. And specifically asked to have a model from the series incorporated as part of the film.
I thought that was cool. There was a lot of cool like pop culture references, and I knew that he liked Neon Genesis Evangelion. So I thought that was cool. That was in there, and The Simpsons, and I think not super sure what movie it was, but I think it was supposed to be The Day After Tomorrow. No. What movie was that supposed to be? There's like a black and white movie playing. Anyway,
maybe I'll come across it. He had to shave most of his arms, upper chest, and hands for the movie because of his extremely hairy body.
yes, he is a very hairy dude.
He was also originally cast as the manager, Bill Owens, who's played by Gary Cole. But after reading the screenplay for the second time, he requested the role of Seymour Parrish. Gary Cole, he plays. Have you seen Office?
Office Space.
Office Space. He plays the boss, and that also named Bill.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh wow, that's like almost he's playing the exact same person.
He's a little more off kilter in Office Space. That's a good movie.
Yeah. Funnier.
Jack Nicholson was originally offered the role of Seymour Parrish, but he turned it down.
Oh.
Can you imagine Jack Nicholson in that role?
Kind of. That might be a better movie. Not that I think Robin Williams is a bad actor, but I just don't think this kind of performance is suited to him. As I've stated.
Right. Another interesting part of that Jack Nicholson thing was that Robin Williams was actually up for the Joker role that Nicholson had in Batman.
See, and then that I think it would have worked better for him.
And then one last interesting tidbit I have is Robin Williams would improvise and do comedic takes on the scenes as if 1 Hour Photo was a comedy, which I think would have been great.
That would have been great. You know what I mean? Like he's a comedian, and he really shines when he's able to be funny. All that blabbering I was doing in those previous 5 minutes of me going on and on could have been better summarized by that short statement. If he's able to be funny, that's when he shines. There was not a single ounce of comedy in this film.
Yeah, it's like seeing Jim Carrey play a like a dark role.
Like even Jim Carrey, when he was in like the Truman Show, where he was like, it was a more serious role. Obviously, there were still moments where he's funny, and that's why that performance is so damn good.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's not just plain serious. There's moments where he's genuinely funny, and he's just like. And then, of course, if you see the movie, what's that called? 21, is it called?
The number 23?
Yeah, that one. Doesn't work as well because there's no comedy. Like, I don't want to... I'm sure that's something that comedians who are actors are frustrated with, like getting pigeonholed into just doing comedic roles. And that's probably why they branch out and do these more serious roles. But I think it just works best when they're able to have a little bit of that comedic touch to the serious roles, and it makes it just more well-rounded.
That is the best point that you've ever made on this podcast.
Wow. I'm like a real person. That makes no sense.
There are a few things that I had an issue with in this movie that wouldn't make any sense in real life. So the first thing was there's no way a company would fire an employee
after 11 years.
Well, not even that, but like let them work until the end of the week.
Yeah, that was another one too. It's like, okay, just work the rest of the week and then you're fired.
But don't do anything weird.
Yeah, don't do any weird stuff.
But that, I mean, the fact that he was still allowed to work was like the only reason why the ending would have made sense. Like if he was just fired, then the movie would have kind of fallen apart.
Yeah.
So that seemed a little too easy.
And also, like what, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the 11, when he's working there 11 years, usually you got to give like some warnings before you can just fire someone. It just felt like he's worked 11 years, no complaints or anything, and then all of a sudden, you're fired. Like it wasn't like it's like, oh, you know what? This has been going on for years now. Film has been missing and prints have been missing and all that. Just like felt so rushed. And I was like, what? You wouldn't fire someone after 11 years? Just like that.
I mean, he's been taking photos for quite a few years, though. And like the fact that they hadn't noticed until then was also a little weird.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I just looked at the numbers for the first time. How did you feel about the first scene of the movie? Like the movie opened up and he was in the police, like in the interrogation room, the large white interrogation room. Like it was like
it's one of those
forward,
right, where it starts with like after the events have happened, sort of thing.
Yeah, like normally, like I don't mind that because it kind of gives you like, oh, something crazy is going to happen, but it would kind of ruin the ending for me because it's like, oh well, he gets caught because he eventually talks to these people and he doesn't end up doing anything too crazy, like he doesn't hurt himself or anything. So kind of ruin it for me.
Yeah, those types of beginnings to films like work well if there's an interesting enough story that leads to that moment. But here you're right, it wasn't interesting, and also it ruined the trajectory. Like, you could see where those beginnings where it shows you the end and then it kind of flashes back. Like, you kind of want to be surprised how that gets to that point, not just be like, okay, I see the natural progression, it's all making sense, and then he's caught. It's like, yeah, I just totally ruined it. It's true.
It would have worked much better without it, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah. And maybe like a bit more, because then immediately you think, okay, he's insane. And then right off the bat, you just think, oh, he's crazy. But if you just took that part out and maybe you saw a slower progression of him sort of losing his sanity, like seeing little glimpses of that, which it did do. Like if you took out that beginning and just started the film where we flash back, the movie still would have made perfect sense. And it would have been a better progression of him slowly unraveling.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it was a fine movie. I liked like his voiceover, kind of the music on that, kind of explaining. It was fine.
The voiceover was an interesting decision as well. There's a lot of interesting choices. And I noticed that also there was a lot of like really awkward moments where I kind of like cringed. Like just like social interactions, like so many of them like, oh, like, so I mean, and I feel like that was kind of what this film was going for. So that was pretty effective. I definitely cringed a lot, but it was like meant to be cringy.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Anything else that you noted or want to talk about?
Nothing really that doesn't pertain to the scores.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, since I know you want to talk about acting so much, how did you feel about the acting? Just keep in mind that the mom is actually a Danish actress.
Yeah, she was like in Gladiator, I think, or something.
She's in like some of the new Marvel stuff, maybe,
Right.
or DC or something. I don't know. One of them.
Something like that. Um, the acting besides Robin Williams wasn't very good, in my opinion. You were right though about the child actor. He was good. He was like, it just seemed like he was being a kid. Like there's so many times where those children actors, they're clearly like overacting and it's just not working at all. They're trying too hard. But this kid, he was quite good, quite convincing. The parents were not convincing, in my opinion. Especially, actually, no, they both weren't very good. Nina and Will.
Yeah, especially the guy. The guy. Sucks.
Yeah, the guy, he was so flat and boring. Yeah, that didn't work. And like, he just showed no emotion. Like even when he's being forced to take those photos at the end, he was like barely seemed upset. It's like, I don't know, it wasn't a very believable performance. And yeah, it was tough. It was a little tough to get through a lot of the scenes, just because there was some awkward dialogue and acting that just wasn't very effective. And Rob Williams, like I said, like definitely a good performance. I could see what he was going for. Just like I said, I think he would really shine if he was able to express himself comedically. But that this type of movie, it didn't really allow for that. I don't know. It would be tough to fit that in, I think. So acting, I mean, Ron Williams is carrying the score, and it's not going to be a fantastic score. I have acting as 5.
Yeah, that's fair. The young boy, his name is Dylan Smith.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in. This is his first movie. And then he was in Gilmore Girls as kid number 2.
Oh, I love that performance.
He was in Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl in 2003 as young Will.
Oh.
And then he was in a TV movie called Reanimated in 2006.
Okay, so he's been laying low since then.
I guess, went to school, and he's 29 now.
Yeah, born the same year as me.
Crazy. Acting, yeah, Robin Williams. I mean, the thought of him playing a more serious role is fun to see. It's kind of what drew us to the movie.
Yeah.
And I thought he did, perfectly good job.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was like really bad. I mean, the parents, they were not great, but nothing terrible.
Yeah.
The detectives, they played a perfectly fine detective.
It was all like serviceable. Like it did the job, but nothing too spectacular.
Yeah, like nothing worthy of this podcast.
Right.
But here we are. I gave acting a 5.5, so 5 for everybody, and then an extra 0.5 for Robin Williams in his performance.
Right. Fair enough.
Now let's talk about the ending. I'll start because
okay.
It was almost like this is a tale of 2 movies. It's like we had the first 3/4 of the movie with Cy having a job, and then he got fired from the job, and then the ending just kind of happened out of nowhere. Like all of a sudden he's in this hotel room with the dad and his mistress, and then he's taking photos of these naked adulterers, and then he's before that he sent his old boss pictures of his daughter. Like it just really strange, and then it ends with him like running through this giant hotel and then getting caught, and then telling everybody not everybody, telling the detective his life story and like the motivation of why he is who he is, which I guess is a good thing that we know.
Yeah.
And then the movie ends, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I gave it a 5 too, because it was just kind of, mediocre, right down the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm basically feeling the same way. I mean, the ending like was supposed to be before he's caught ultimately and brought into the room for questioning. It was just like a little lackluster, especially the moment where like I guess it's like the main inciting. It's not really the inciting incident, but like when he's forcing them to take those photos. I guess it was supposed to be dramatic. It just didn't feel all that dramatic. And when he was trying to be like super serious and like threatening, I just wasn't buying it. I guess. And then, I mean, it did get better when they brought him in and he was sort of confessing, as he said, like the motivation behind the way that he is. I guess. And I mean, he did have some pretty understandable motivation, I guess. So that part was okay. But yeah, as a whole, like it was just kind of like I don't know. I wasn't all that thrilled by it. So I gave it the exact same score for ending as well, 5.
So you give acting and ending both 5s.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, well, how was your score to 10, though, of looking at the whole movie front to back, top to bottom?
Front to back, top to bottom, round and round. Well, yeah, the acting not amazing. The ending pretty unremarkable. And then I add in things like the plot holes, the pacing, the beginning. How like if we didn't see that flash forward beforehand, it would have worked a little better. And also, I thought like at the end when he reveals his, I guess, motivation, if that had been like somehow incorporated into the chunk of the plot throughout, it would have been a bit better of a progression, I thought. And so there's more things wrong than just with the acting and the ending. It's all those things added on. And so for my score out of 10, I gave it a 4.
Wow, so hard on Robin Williams.
Yeah, I mean, I love Robin Williams. Some of my favorite films have him in it. Some of my favorite performances ever have him in it. This just wasn't it.
Yeah, I can't get over how, like, the room that they're questioning him in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest, whitest room you've ever seen. Like, there's no way they would bring him in to that kind of room.
It was like generic white room with one-way mirror. That whole thing.
Yeah. So because of that, I gave it a 5 out of 10. For most of the same reasons that you gave it. It was just this movie is only remarkable. Well, you'll only remember it because Robin Williams is in it. If it was anybody else, I would have already forgotten it. I just finished it today.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
5 out of 10 for the old 1 hour photo.
Not a winner.
Well, it's sad, but hopefully the next movie we watch will be a winner.
Let's hope so. I mean, you're picking it. You pick better films.
That is true. I do pick better films. Okay, well, for talking about next week, the hint that I will give you is that the movie, it science fiction.
Okay.
And it, as far as I know, the majority of it happens not on Earth.
Okay. That's the hints I get.
The main character, the actor plays a character that has the same first name. It tells the story of Sam, played by Sam, the only inhabitant of an automated lunar mining base. Lunar.
Okay. Lunar. Okay.
It's a 2009 movie. It did better Rotten Tomatoes-y than Whenever Photo, but not that much. Kevin Spacey's also in it, so I hope that's not a...
Oh, no.
It only made $9.8 million at the box office.
Oh.
2009 film, but it wasn't a film that you would have... Interesting. That you would have... That I didn't hear about it until like recently. Like, this was not a movie that was on anybody's radar. It does not. Clearly.
Right.
The main guy, I think he won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for something recently. So it was one of his earlier films.
Cool.
Perhaps it has something to do with billboards. I don't know. I can't remember.
2 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri.
I don't know if he went for that or something else. He's been in a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the movie of the week, and then that's the feature movie of the week. It's an hour and 37 minutes, so keeping with the shorties.
The shorties. I love them.
It's also on Prime, I believe.
Oh, that's handy.
Without a subscription, I think you can just watch it without getting stars or whatever.
Cool. All right, I'm excited.
Sam Rockwell was his name. Okay. Billboards. So we did miss an important segment before this. That's obviously the follower of the week, which I'm very surprised that you would have skipped over, considering how much you always say you love.
I do love the follower of the week. I was just so excited about the podcast movie of the week.
The follower of the week this week comes back to our very early days as a podcast. I actually scrolled down all the way to the end, and it was the first one at the bottom. Yo-Yo Crazy Bones.
Yo-Yo Crazy Bones. Okay.
They have 0 posts, 446 followers, and they're following 2,187 people. Yo-Yo Crazy Bones, real name Yoran Alflat. Self-proclaimed 18-year-old autistic movie buff, smiley face.
Mm-hmm.
We all go a little mad sometimes. He has a quote there from the movie Scream. And has 0 posts.
That's a lot of followers for not having ever posted anything.
Yeah. Well, I think it's one of those things where they follow you and then
right.
You're like,
follow.
I'll follow you back. We do not follow them back.
No, we do not do that.
Yo-Yo Crazy Bones.
I love that name so much. They
are our follower of the week. And it must have been just an organic thing because they have no posts. So their picture is just of a bear.
Okay.
Just like I don't know, some sort of brown bear. Perhaps a grizzly. Perhaps they're called grizzlies. I don't know.
A crazy bone bear, perhaps?
Yo-Yo Crazy Bones. I remember playing with Crazy Bones back in the day.
Oh, those weird, plastic things? Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember really anything about them.
Me either. They're just kind of weird shapes and stuff.
Oh, I bet it's Crazy Bones with a K, isn't it? Nope, it's not.
Crazy Bones with a Z.
Right. Yeah, I wonder how much they go for on eBay these days. I don't know.
Who knows?
Go-Go's Crazy Bones are colorful plastic figurines that can be used to play many different games, similar to marbles and jacks. On Amazon, you can get them for as low as $9.73.
Well, that's a steal.
That is a steal for sure. Anything you want to plug or talk about before we do our last segment?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. There's at my work. There's Greg, obviously, but Greg's sibling Patrick has started working at the same place. So now there's two from the family, and now that's an extra listener. I'm sure he'll just be listening day in and day out.
Do you know that for sure, or are you just guessing?
Am I just guessing that he works there now, or that he's going to listen?
That he's going to listen. I don't care if he's going to work there. I just want him to listen.
Wow. I don't actually know. I'm sure Greg would tell him how good we are. And I have nothing bad to say, and Patrick will just feel so compelled to listen. That's my guess.
Well, shout out to Pat and Greg, two brothers who keep us doing this week in and week out.
Yeah, paying our bills.
So this week we're gonna end the episode with a little trivia, a little 5-question trivia. I picked general.
Okay,
Last week
good
geography.
idea.
This week general.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am born ready, baby.
Question 1. What fast food chain marketed a meat-scented cologne called Flame in 2008? Flame meat-scented cologne fast food chain in 2008.
If I were to guess, I would say Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Interesting. When I think of Flame, I think of Burger King.
Flame broiled.
Yeah, something like that. Also, shout out to fast food making its way for the second time on this episode after the whole grape debacle.
Comes all the way around.
The answer is Burger King. I did not cheat. The answer is Burger King.
Nice guess.
Question number 2. Where was the first YouTube video filmed?
It was filmed at the zoo. I don't know which zoo. I'm not guessing the San Diego Zoo.
Okay, I'm gonna say Hollywood.
Okay.
Hollywood, California. In a zoo. It just says in a zoo. So you got that one right.
I did get that. Have you never seen that video?
Well, when you said zoo, it reminded me of it. But I wouldn't have known that unless you said it.
Right.
Let's just find a good one here. Okay. What is added to vanilla ice cream to make New Zealand's popular Hokey Pokey flavor? What is added to vanilla ice cream to make New Zealand's popular Hokey Pokey flavor?
Black licorice.
When you think of New Zealand, you think of kiwis. So I'm going to say kiwi.
Okay.
Am I a genius? It's honeycomb toffee. Honeycomb toffee.
Of course.
Would have never...
I don't think I would have ever said that had I been given 10 years to guess. And I gave a guess once a day. I never would have gotten there.
Question 4. What do you eat when you accept that you're wrong about something? What do you eat when you accept that you're wrong about something?
Oh, I'm really eating the chicken tonight. That's not my guess. But what do you think it is?
Guess?
No,
I think it's crow. You eat crow when you said that you're wrong about something.
I'm going to say you eat the spoiled porridge.
It's canned corn. You eat canned corn when you're wrong about something. What was the first video game played in space?
It's got to be Pong.
It's got to be Pong, but since you said Pong, I'm gonna say Donkey Kong 2.
Okay, or it might be Asteroids.
It's Tetris.
Oh,
Tetris, and then we'll leave with a bonus question. Bonus question number 6.
okay.
What is the most common birthday? What is the most common birthday?
Okay, it's got to be in September. I know that for sure. I'm going to say...
why? Because it's 9 months from,
Christmas. I'm going to say it's September 15th. No, 21st.
September 21st? Okay, well, I'm going to say going off your Christmas idea, I'm going to say that Valentine's Day is probably a little bit better for that. So 9 months from Valentine's Day would make it November 14th. November 14th? Sorry, what did you say?
I said September 21st.
Ooh, September 9th. September 9th is correct. I don't know why September 9th, but you get it right because you picked September. That was a great guess.
Thank you.
And that concludes our random trivia generator.
We didn't do stupendously, did we?
We normally do between one and two out of 5 or 6, I think.
I mean, we're avid. Well, we used to be avid Jeopardy watchers.
These are really random questions as well, so you know.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about my YouTube one.
Yeah, it was great in a zoo. So this is episode 27. You didn't listen to last week's episode, but you did tell me to just end it, and then I did just end it.
Oh, good.
Next week, episode 28, we'll be watching the movie Moon.
Yeah,
it's called Moon by Sam Rockwell and Kevin Spacey in it.
I looked it up with your hints. Figured it out.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it, but it is a movie that I've wanted to watch for quite a long time. It's just like nobody wants to watch it with me, so I have to save it for
force it onto me
for one of these things. And it's on my list of movies. So Moon sounds great, and I think we'll enjoy it. I don't know if we'll have anything to talk about because it's mostly probably just Sam Rockwell on the moon.
It's got to be interesting in some way.
We did finish Umbrella Academy last week.
How'd that go?
It went well. It is a pretty slow season, but I think you would enjoy it if you just watched it. But now it's too late.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that.
A show recommendation for you if you have Apple TV or a good internet connection is Blackbird, starring Taron Egerton. We enjoyed it. It's a mini-series, 6 episodes. He's in prison. It's great.
I very much appreciate the recommendation. I will not be watching that, but I do appreciate
Game
that.
Game of Thrones, season 5, episode 3.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
When Jon climbs the wall, that's the episode that I would recommend.
Right, when he climbs the wall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for me. I think I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Well, I mean, if it's convenient for you, we can just end.
Well, this is a two-man situation, so I'll wait until you're done.
Okay. Let's just have a moment of silence. And I'll let you know.
Yo-Yo Crazy Bones.
Yo-Yo Crazy Bones. Thanks for watching. I'm Jesse. He's Josh. This week on the podcast, we watched 1 Hour Photo starring Robin Williams. Josh, what did you think?
It was an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Very interesting.
Nothing wrong with it.
Perfect movie. Well, I think we'll end it there. What do you think?
Okay, goodbye.
Okay.